We have been told that the fear of God is the beginning of wisdom. This is a dubious claim at best, yet this idea has been spectacularly successful. It has made us worry that we might be thinking the wrong thoughts or living the wrong way. We have been encouraged to believe that the creator of the universe is waiting to punish us for any and all of our failures. The residue of this fear shapes the ways we approach life, death, and whatever lies beyond. But these fear-provoking ideas didn't always exist. Some features of human experience are so old that we can only guess at how they started. Fearing our creator, however, is a human artifact that has a knowable history. The founding father of divine fear is the man who built the framework of Judaism, Christianity, and Islam. His name is Moses. For the past 2,000 years, Moses has been celebrated as the giver of God's laws. But contrary to the dominant narrative, giving laws is not actually how Moses took control of Israelite society. At the beginning, the ancient Israelites didn't like the laws of Moses. From their perspective, they didn't need Moses to teach them how to celebrate God. The Israelites already had religious practices that their ancestors had been using for centuries. When Moses demanded they conform to his new rules, the Israelites responded with many different expressions of resistance. Their first demonstration of opposition is the pivotal one. At a place called Mount Sinai, Moses walked into a scene where the people were using their ancestral religious practices instead of doing what Moses told them to do. The dominant narrative of this scene has accused the Israelites of committing wickedness. Translators of the original text have knowingly misrepresented this story so as to promote and protect the legacy of Moses. But their version is demonstrably wrong. The Israelite celebration was peaceful and joyous. They created a religious ritual. Then they shared an outdoor picnic that involved singing, playing, and dancing. These Israelites had just been rescued from a hopeless existence of permanent enslavement to the pharaohs of Egypt. They were celebrating because the cataclysmic power of God had saved them. It is true that their religious ritual violated the laws of Moses, but there was nothing lewd or wicked about it. This ceremony was a beautiful community event, but it came to a bitter end. Without warning, Moses unleashed horrifying consequences. According to Moses, religious compliance was a matter of life and death. What happened next completely transformed the religious history of our species. Moses hastily assembled a religious army and ordered a massacre of his own people. According to the original story, 3,000 men were stabbed to death because Moses ordered it. Their only offense was practicing religion differently than Moses did. This slaughter is the first documented religious execution in the history of humanity. A few years after this first mass killing, 250 elders of the surviving community came forward to resist the violence of Moses' religious culture. Moses refused to collaborate with them or to compromise in any way. Instead, Moses presided over the punishment of these elders, watching as they were all burned to death. Religious death penalties were the core of Moses' power. In the society of Moses, anyone who didn't recognize his authority or the authority of his chosen leaders was subject to capital punishment. All of these details are written, without apology or remorse, in the sacred scriptures of the religions that descend from Moses. Yet many of us are unaware of this history. The legacy of how Moses instilled fear into the hearts of his people should be well known, but instead it has been relegated to the shadows. Because Moses has been glorified for centuries, it is profoundly uncomfortable when we look at how he actually wielded his religious power. This discomfort is exacerbated because his mechanisms of control have become obsolete or illegal in most parts of the modern world. Yet religious leaders from many different traditions continue to replicate the intimidation tactics of Moses. They have skillfully and charismatically directed our attention so that they can continue to benefit from inciting fear in our hearts. Instead of killing people who deviate, they now threaten an afterlife of annihilation or torture. The core principle is the same no matter the era. We should all be afraid. This is a big story. It's one that has influenced and continues to influence billions of lives. To see the evidence and to understand these legacies more fully, you can read my book, Moses and the Death of Heresy. But now that we see the real mechanisms through which religious fear became cemented in human culture, we can step away so as to let it erode and crumble under its own weight. We only need one fact to begin reclaiming our religious freedom. A perfectly valid version of religion existed long before Moses. Even the authors of the Torah, the Bible, and the Qu'ran acknowledge this to be true. According to Judaism, Christianity, and Islam, the Creator was referred to as the God of Abraham. Abraham lived centuries before Moses, and his ways of honoring the Creator were so beautiful that God promised to bless anyone who blessed Abraham. We can go back to the source and live more like Abraham did. Abraham lived a casual religious life. When something occurred to make him feel especially grateful to be alive, he celebrated wherever he was. He would prepare a feast, thank his Creator, then he would sit down to eat with his companions, whether they were family, friends, or neighbors from different traditions. Gratitude was the guiding principle and practice of Abraham's religion. Abraham understood the fundamental religious truth that there is no wrong way to say thank you to your Creator. Abraham never punished anyone for expressing their religious impulses differently than he did. He knew that there is no wrong way to feel grateful to be alive. In the society of Abraham, blessings were for everyone. According to the original story of his life, it says, "All the families of the earth will be blessed through Abraham." We can claim these blessings when we stop listening to the people who tell us to be afraid. The beginning of wisdom is gratitude. And when we can access and express our gratitude without fear, then we can all experience true religious freedom.